right. Y'all, we are live.
Let's do this.
We're in this piece. All right, you guys. Welcome to Two Queens and Crystal Things, the podcast where we are on some manifest your life, shift your mind, and raise the consciousness type of shit.
That's what we on.
That is what we are on. And I am Christy.
I am Mia, and you can consider us your spiritual girlfriends. Okay, so last week we talked about self-mastery, knowledge of self, basically knowing who the hell you are inside and out,
all
up
that.
and down, all the way around, and why it's so important. So I just want you to remember everything, literally everything in our lives is shaped based on who we believe ourselves to be. The decisions we make about relationships, our station in life, our finances, careers, hobbies, passions, etc., etc. Mastery and self-love, how we parent, how we view the world. I use an example that, two people can watch the exact same movie, or shoot, they could be having a conversation with each other.
Oh, absolutely.
And hear two completely different things, and that's all based on their own perception of self. That's their own filter. So we're asking everyone to look at the filter by which you view the world. So when you understand and love who you are, you understand your filter. So you know why you love the way you do.
That's so good.
Your expectation of yourself and others, where you excel, your gifts, where you need to heal, all from self-mastery. So I love this quote from Lao Tzu. I love Lao Tzu. Knowing others is intelligent. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Mastering others is strength, but mastering yourself is true power. So we all about that self-mastery.
Yes.
In this 2020, to get into it and check out our self-mastery package, go to IG, yo. We got something for everybody.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm actually really excited about that, but we will actually discuss that a little bit later in the podcast. So today we are going to get into lessons and blessings.
Ooh, child.
And it's so funny. I'll share because you guys know I always share. But okay, so especially as it relates to 2020. So this year has been trash for so many.
Everybody ready to kick this year to the
Man, they're like, can we get to 2021 already? And we are all ready to just start new, toss the whole year away, and don't look back. But honestly, face value, it makes complete sense. We understand why this has been a very trying year for so many people. But this is an opportunity, and honestly, before you decide you want to kick 2020 to the curb, there is now an opportunity to reflect, and especially as it relates to the spiritual journey. And so that's what we want to discuss today. And what's funny is just this past week, so this is my sharing piece. So just this last week, Mia and I were talking about one of my previous relationships with my ex-husband. And she was like, well, surely, there had to have been something positive that came out of the relationship. Like, you have to have had, a great, at some point in time, things...
Shit was good at some point.
And I was like, I don't know. I said, well, we've had some good moments. But the good thing is she challenges me. And not, in a bad way, but she challenges me to just look at things in a different perspective. And so I challenged myself. I was like, okay, well, yeah, Christy, let's take some time and just don't think about the bad. And I think we do that oftentimes. But I found a couple of good things.
You found it? You said,
But, it's true. We tend to focus on the bad, and a lot of times it's like the bad outweighs the good, but we want you to take a break from all the craziness that has happened in 2020, and we want you all to kind of shift your perspective.
And actually, and that's a perfect setup for what our temple work is for later on. We have a challenge for our listeners.
It's going to be fun.
Okay. But anyway, so you did get some good lessons.
I did. I mean, I already knew what my lessons were, but having to actually sit and think about it, I'm like,
So you guys, when you think, 2020, girl, look,
woo!
Like, I had to take a deep breath. It has been overwhelming and underwhelming at the same damn time. But one of the big takeaways, and there's so many things that fall into this, I think, is sometimes you have to lose everything to gain everything. And
Ooh, say that again.
sometimes you have to lose everything to gain
Ooh,
everything.
there are so many people I know can
attest to
yes.
2020. 2020.
2020 was not playing.
It was not petty. This heifer was petty as hell. It
Man.
stayed petty. Like
Pimp
no
slapped
breaks.
us, kicked us when we were down. But you know, if anything, we are all coming out of this year stronger with a little bit more wisdom, I think.
Yes, and sometimes you have to lose everything you thought you needed, and to go in order to gain everything that you want. So let's get into this. So I mean, we're going to share some of the stuff that we've gone through, and we can put them, thematically, so people understand. But at the end of the day, like, this is some real stuff, y'all.
Real.
Do you remember how 2020? This is so funny because it's hard to remember the fact that 2020 didn't get crazy until March. It feels like the entire year was fakata.
Yeah, no, it was just March.
So January. Wait, hold on. We got to pause and think about this. Everybody, 2020 was a huge deal.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember at the
everyone
end
was like, I got 2020 vision.
Yes! I'm about to jump out my window.
Little did they know.
2020 vision is on there popping.
Yeah.
This is new year, new me.
Yes.
But in many ways, that's actually true. It just wasn't as fun as we thought it was.
Well, it wasn't what we expected it to be.
Yes, but it's definitely. Let me tell you something. I find it I'm so curious if there is literally anybody who has not been affected by 2021 has not learned something about themselves.
I'm sure everyone has.
This has been something. Something. But remember, so what do we? January, February. I actually remember. And let me ask you if you can remember. I remember All-Star Weekend, Chicago. That was around Valentine's Day weekend. That's why I remember. And one of my friends' birthdays around that time, and I remember us going out. I mean, having a ball, having a good old time. Chicago was so freaking fun doing All-Star. Oh my God, I had a ball.
I think I was in New York during that time.
Really? Mm-hmm. You left Chicago, the city where you live, during All-Star weekend when it was so fun.
Yeah, I don't like crowds like that.
Jesus. Lord help. Now, I don't do the big crowds, but all the different brands, they do all these dope parties. And I went to whiskey event. I had a good time.
Fancy.
And then everything is cool. And then they creeped up on us so fast, you guys. It was just like, oh, well, all the restaurants are closing. And I believe it was like March 14th, 15th, someplace around there. And I remember being in a restaurant with somebody that I no longer deal with on that last day. Like, we went to Yoke. And it was like, okay, we were having brunch. Everything was cool. And when I tell you, the proverbial shit hit the fan.
Like, I remember being at work that day. And
from Monday,
like, go home. Don't come back.
Don't come. Everything just, woo.
And even in New York, which was the latter part of February, I remember there was like this little buzz of something, a virus. People were getting infected, but it wasn't huge yet. Yeah. Like, it wasn't I don't want to say mainstream because it was on the news a little bit, but it wasn't like now.
No, but it was they were tracking it to like people on. Remember the cruise ships? Do you remember the damn cruise ships that were out there for months? This is not funny. But there was I remember the story of the woman who was on a cruise, came to Chicago, and she was like, patient 0 for Chicago, and they're like, oh, she's in this hospital, and it was just this one person.
Yeah, I do remember that.
And then she went left.
Man.
Like,
quickly.
No. And when I tell
quickly.
You, and I know you guys know this. When they said we shut down for 2 weeks, we definitely thought everything was going to be fine.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody did.
And
everyone
then
was like,
we did shut down for the 30 days, and you're like, by summer, girl, let me tell you, if you're from Chicago or have been in Chicago in the summertime Chicago is
the best.
It is.
Chicago makes up for its winters.
It sure does. We didn't get under that.
Sorry.
So it was a different time, but so I'm gonna ask you, Christy, what do you think? What do you think when you look at we're gonna start with our losses.
Yeah.
When you think about what do you As you were now, it's difficult because you're looking back on it on hindsight. But think about when you were going through it. What were you feeling like? I'm losing. Like this shit is fucked up.
Well, the interesting thing is that I was also going through like my spiritual reawakening, I'll say, during that time. So I feel like I was losing my ego. Because remember, I was like with my job and I wasn't getting paid.
That's right. Oh.
And I was going to work every day and not getting paid. And I would be talking to her and like hoping that whenever she give me a reading, like the money would be coming. And it just like I absolutely had to get to a point where I just said, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to really have to live on faith and know that everything is going to be okay. And the things that I thought were important became no longer as important. You know, like the materialistic things. Like I learned how to find happiness and joy without getting paid for several months. And understanding like how to keep my sanity. So I had to learn how to let a lot of things go. And I think the biggest thing was just my ego.
I was about to say, I will.
And need to control.
I was about to say, when I say that, girl, like, I just felt that in my soul. Ego death, honey. So,
yeah.
In the 2019, before the end of 2019, I had gotten laid off from my job. And that was beyond damaging to my ego, to my confidence. I had never. You see how this fucking cat? Sorry, my ignorant cat.
Her cat is like, what the hell is this doing up here?
And just knocked it off the table.
Bye-bye.
Raggedy. Anyway, that was so blowing to my confidence. I've been through several, when I'm talking about when all of the recessions, there would be layoffs, and I had never been affected by any of it. And so I didn't necessarily think I was Teflon. It's just this came so it was just like, oh, we're eliminating your position.
Wait, what?
What do you? So and it wasn't. It's just like and when I tell you I was not prepared. But this is the funny thing about that. I hated that damn job.
Yeah.
It's
a blessing in disguise sometimes.
When I say I hated every piece of that, but at the same time, I'm a single mom. I mean, it messed me up because I had so much of my identity and how I view myself was based on that job. So when you're going into 2020, I'm looking for a job. I'm deep and I'm diving more into my spiritual journey and also to the fact that I'm a healer and, opening myself up more to it. But still at the beginning of 2020, I was still like, in the closet about, who I was. But it's just like, it was one of those, like, if you know, but I wasn't like, it was not happening. 2020 made me, Jesus. When I say 2020 made me say, you just gonna have to be who the fuck you are. And with no validation.
Right.
And I didn't know how much I needed validation in my life. Like, because if you would have asked me, I'd be like, no, I don't need nobody. Lie. I was straight lying to myself. So
the lies
I think
we tell ourselves.
The ego death, but it's really because I literally had to learn how to be okay with being me without validation for anybody else.
Yeah.
Especially at the same time, I'm coming out the spiritual closet. And
me too.
I'm not working. You know what I mean? So then I'm like kind of like doing little stuff here and there, but I'm not working. And then so my family's kind of probably looking at me like, we don't do that. Like, they not, what are you even talking about? We keep moving forward. And it looked like I just start walking backwards. And I could totally understand looking back how somebody could be like, you are literally just walking backwards in your life. And I had nothing to show me that you're not walking backwards, keep going. And I just had to keep. That was some scary shit.
Yeah, it is scary.
2020 with my ass.
Yeah.
It was real scary. So one of the things when you think about losing things, but what you gain, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
When you lose everything, the people that are still around you in that loss, those are your people.
Yeah, like Pantygate. I'm not gonna go into detail.
Oh
She
my
knows.
God.
But as far as like losing friends, I got to a point where I had to I had to ask myself, Christy, why but it's like, Christy, why do you get to why are you chasing people down to be your friend?
Like,
Why?
well, I mean, because but like for real, yeah. Let's talk about that. This is why relationships in every shape and every form, like romantic, your friends and family, all familial relationships are important because they're mirrors of ourselves.
Yeah, they are.
So when you start to change, and everyone's seeing you changing, and these people are no longer a mirror of yourself, that hurts. And I don't think people really understand and especially for me, with friendships and friendships that I've changed and adjusted and shifted, that is painful because I'm loyal. It's
right.
Friends are family. So it feels like a breakup. Your
does.
man just left you. Right. It feels like
no, it does. Yeah.
But while you're going through that, it's painful. But you also, they shift and change, and you also, this cat is wild hundreds. But it allows you to see people who are there for you no matter what station you are in your life.
Yep.
And so that there's something to that.
Yep.
That feels like she won't mind if I say my friend Carmen. This is one of those type of friends where she's just like, you know what? I don't get it, but I love you. Mm-hmm. I don't have
and those
to get
are the
it.
best friends.
She's like, but that's just how she is. Just like, babe, I trust you. I wouldn't have done that. I don't really get all that, but I'm here.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you're just like, oh, thank you.
Those are the best. Yeah. Those are the best.
Those are the best type of friends. Losing everything.
So I will say this year, I spent a good portion of, the pandemic, figuring out what makes me happy.
Woo!
What makes me happy? Or who am I? Who is Christy? Who is this new person? What does she like to do? What is she, what does she like talking about? What are some of her activities? And I started doing things I never thought I would do. I took tennis lessons and realized that it was something that I really enjoyed doing.
Yes.
The experience. Tennis is
really fun.
I underestimated.
But this is the thing. Unfortunately, sometimes, and what we've been forced to do, figuring out what makes you happy is because you are forced to deal with yourself.
True.
So for a while, we were for real stuck in the house. For real. Nothing was open. Nothing's moving. I mean, I would do stuff like just get in the car and just drive.
I used to do that too. We would have a daily drive down Lakeshore Drive.
Oh my God, yes! I would go from one end of Lakeshore Drive.
We wouldn't go that far.
Oh no, I would go all the way to the end of Lakeshore Drive. And
we did it too. We were like, let's go for a drive,
girl. Because I would, but through that though, and I'm gonna ask for you to tell. But through that, I really learned I became reacquainted with how much I enjoy my company.
Yes.
I crack myself up. Mm-hmm.
She really does.
I really do. I think I'm freaking hilarious. But I'll just laugh and have a good time. I have conversations with myself. But figuring out when you strip away everything that you think that you need to make you happy, and then it's down to just you and figuring out. You're just like, dang, I could really be happy without this and that and going here and doing this. And then when you really start thinking about it, I actually really don't. I learned this about I don't really like going to clubs where it's a lot of people. I actually fucking hate it. Yeah. But because, you're with your friends and it's this and I don't like that. Yeah. That's not fun for me. But I did find I could be perfectly happy sitting in my house reading a book, practicing. I'm teaching myself how to play the guitar. Girl, did stuff like get a record player, play some vinyl records. I'm like, I can really be in my jam, which allowed me to learn more, about myself, and then actually, realize dang, I really kind of like this kid. I kind of fuck with I already liked it, but it's like, dang, it's like, okay, I kind of rock with you. Mm-hmm. What did you figure about what makes you happy that you didn't think?
So I thought having certain relationships would make me happy. You know, with people. And then I realized, again, this goes back to real friends. I realized that what made me happy was knowing that regardless of anything, people have my, someone had my back.
Ooh.
And not because there was an exchange.
Loyalty.
Right.
Yes.
Not because they're getting something out of it, but because they genuinely are my friend. And I think just getting to a point where it's like I don't need those type of relationships, that's one of the things that made me happy. And I also realized like I had to be content and happy with myself. And I had to work through some shit to get to that point.
Ooh. Yeah.
But yeah, it starts from within.
I mean, and honestly, it's I think there's something about we were forced to simplify. Like you were literally forced to simplify, and then sometimes in that simplification, you're like, actually, this is pretty. I'm okay with this. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm okay if they keep restaurants at even once we're able to go inside. Like I'm okay with it not being jam packed. You can't
me
hear
too.
yourself.
Yeah, I don't like a lot of people.
Like I'm like, this is
COVID travel was good though. I really enjoyed COVID travel.
That's true. Oh, the air. No, but seriously, like if you really think about it, it's just like this shit kind of slap without all these people around. This is nice. I can enjoy the atmosphere and your waiter remembers everything that you.
Right. Yes.
So one of the things I would say, now this one is a big one, guys. Learning how resilient I was. Now here's the thing. I knew that I was resilient. I've been on that like girl. The bounce back is real.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand how. I didn't know the depths of how resilient I could be when I literally. This is my motto. I went to Clark Atlanta University. This is one of our mottos, to find a way and make one. And I tell you, I've always lived by that. But when you are forced to simplify and you strip down to, like, I'm like, how am I going to get money? How is it? And I just, like, when I say I figured out, like, when I say I can make a way out of no way.
There you go.
Like, for real. Like, I have been battled, like, as an adult. And it's scary as an adult, especially when you are responsible for somebody else.
When you have children. Yes.
That panic that sets in when you're like, oh, my God.
And then you feel like you have to be calm. Like, as a parent, it's like, I can't allow them to see me,
panicking. Like, I'm having a whole, like... Like, girl.
Kai saw me a couple times crying, waiting for this money. Like, what's going to happen?
No, I have definitely. But it's true. Look, I'm like, we could talk about that. Parenting. I've learned that we don't do our children any justice by making them think we're always so strong and we're not confused and stuff doesn't come up because then they grow up thinking that's how I have
everything
to be.
Is
and
smooth.
That's a lie.
Everything, you're right. So that's and that's another thing too. We talk about it, just getting into learning about ourselves, knowing that about myself. I realized that I think it's important to show her that side of me. Because then she realized I'm human. As mothers, we're not just these superheroes.
And especially...
We feel like it sometimes.
No, but we do feel like that's the expectation of us. Mm-hmm. Like, you need to go to work. You gotta cook the food and feed me and nurture me and fix my boo-boos and then be a friend and be a good listener. And then, when you're in a relationship, and then I gotta fuck you and like you and love you and talk to you. And then there's not a lot of places in there for you to do you.
Right. Yep.
So there is an expectation that you're a superwoman. I think that this has, and I hope that a lot of our listeners, you really did have an opportunity to take time because, like, you can't expect nothing from me because you have nothing to give. Like, we all here and the same. It was I would call
just
it
looking at each other.
2020, the great equalizer. Because when you strip down to just you and you, we're all on the same page. Like, how do you handle this? And I know there's a lot of people who. I used to say this all the time. The mark of a character is how they act in times of crisis and pressure. Because pressure breaks pipes.
Oh, absolutely. But pressure also does what?
What?
Creates diamonds.
It sure does. Ooh, it sure does. You forgot about diamonds.
Remember, we gotta think about the blessings too.
Yes, that is the blessing. That's true. But when you're dealing with someone, how they respond, like you don't. Who said this? Oh, I don't remember. Somebody just saying you don't know someone until you've been through every season with them. And not necessarily winter, summer, spring, fall, but a happy season, I'm fucked up season. I'm sad.
No, you're right. I remember you told me that.
Yeah, that's you got to see people go through all their seasons because in life you will experience all the seasons multiple times. But the resilience thing is that's oof.
Yeah, that was another thing. Yeah, I mean, I of course, like you, I also knew that I was resilient. But yeah, 2020 definitely told me, like, okay, you're actually kind of a badass, Christy. You're not giving yourself credit. And it's like, okay, all right, okay.
One of the things that I think, and this is I think spiritually, when we talk about this, when we talk about meditating and connecting with your highest self. One of the things that 2020 has taught me to appreciate and thoroughly embrace is the sound of my own damn voice.
Yep.
Like literally listening to myself and my highest self and having faith in it. Like Christy would tell you, my faith is so.
This chick will walk out the window like, of course I can walk in the air.
But that faith, this is a 2020 lesson, real hard. That might be one of my great, having faith in myself and that, and especially when you're in that knowingness that I created this. And so when it kicked in, like, hold on. So I created this. I created this life. I am a spiritual being having a human experience. And I look back, I'm like, bitch, you didn't create this for your ass to fall like this.
Right.
This ain't your ending. It's like, you know what, self? You right. This ain't self.
You are right.
This is not your ending. And so being able to, and so that allowed me to just have that. I mean, it's almost sickening. Like I have no clue how. I just know that.
Yes.
I just know. I don't know the answer. And then that would be so frustrating especially for family. Like, well, what's your plan? I got this. Well, can you tell me? I'm going to be okay, and I'm gonna start this business, and I'm stepping into my spiritual journey, and I'm gonna do this. And they're like, but how? Hey, shut up and watch, because right now you trying to fuck with my mind.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why people say don't share a lot of stuff with people, because they will talk you out of it.
Yes, and you know what? And we got to keep it real. Yeah. Oftentimes, especially people who love us, they're not doing that because they don't.
They love you.
Right, they're doing it because they love you, and so. That's their own fear. Like, like for real, like I would never do that. Right. And I've had to say to a couple of friends, it's a good thing you don't have to. Like, I love you. Like, I'm not asking you to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
isn't it funny though how people will transfer their issues,
their own like
insecurities onto you?
Like, I'm not asking.
And then we take it like, okay, oh wait, now I'm afraid.
Right. And I was no. Do you know how? Like, think about it. Have you ever had where you're like, when you start to grow your locks out, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna do locks. I know you have some friends or two who are like, I wouldn't do that, and you start questioning like, but you know what I mean? It's like you kind of go through like
somebody
it's
always
like that,
have something to say.
Somebody's always going to have something to say, but it hits different when it's somebody that you actually care about.
Oh, of course.
The white noise, people just talking. I don't care about what you say, but when it's somebody that you care about and you hold dear to your heart, their opinion matters. So when they say something that's not in alignment with you, that's actually a lot of times our relationships break up. And we have to learn, you guys, that just because a friend, a loved one is not in alignment or doesn't agree with you, say that doesn't mean that they don't love you or you can't love them anymore. It's just like we have to agree to disagree. Yeah. In love.
You have to sometimes just let that go.
But sometimes I can like straight up remember times where I'll be so excited about something. And then, like, I'll be telling a friend, I'll be like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, you're right, I guess.
Honestly, I think
she don't do that no more.
That's why I tell people, like, oh, by the way, I did X, Y, and Z. Oh, you did?
Yes. By the way. Look,
really?
Oh, by the way. Mm-hmm.
But something else 2020 taught me is just it has reminded me who I really want to be. I mean, again, let's go back to choices. I've been saying this for a while, that we all have choices.
And decisions.
Choices and decisions. And I
free will to make those choices and decisions.
This is true. And I think once I got to that point, like, okay, Christy, you have a choice to create the type of life that you want. Like, you have a choice as to whether or not you're going to keep these bum-ass friends in your life. Like, you have a choice. You have a choice that you want to keep people in your circle who are petty. You have a choice. And I was like, oh, wow, I really do. And so I realized that I don't want to be that person with those type of relationships. And so those are...
Wait, let's talk about a choice. So, like, let's keep it real. You know how you've been in a situation, and I know people can relate to this, and you feel like, and somebody said, well, why did you like, I didn't have a choice. And because, and you can honestly, genuinely feel like, I didn't have a choice. Like, this is, you know, my mom, and she, like, and this, so, like, and but everything in you doesn't want you to do that, or you know it's wrong, but I don't have a, let me tell you, I don't say that shit no more.
Yeah.
Because I know that I have a choice. But my thing is, but let's keep it real. You can be in a situation, you know, in a relationship, and you say, I don't have a choice. No, my thing is just stand in your shit. Yeah. If this is the choice that you're making, at least be honest with yourself, like, I understand I'm in this relationship. I'm not ready to let this relationship go. And I am choosing to do this. Because there's something about when you make yourself accountable for your decisions, it'll give you pause. Like, wait a minute, hold on. So I'm choosing to go bump my head again. Damn, really? Is that's what you're doing? That's what that, okay.
No, you're right.
That's what I'm doing? Actually, I don't want to do that. So that's you always have a decision. Yep. At work, we can make it practical. They asked me to do this, and I mean, I had no choice, even though I thought that it was wrong that but you say I have no choice or else I'm going to lose my job. It's like, no, be honest with yourself. I do have a choice. There are consequences for my actions, and what I'm choosing is I don't want that consequence, so I'm choosing to do something that is not in alignment with my soul, and I'm choosing that I'm going to have to go deal with this shit later and heal it, but just be honest with yourself about where you are.
Yep.
But a reminder, what you're saying, like a reminder of who I really wanted to be. That was another huge. And
I'm still working on shit, you guys.
We all are.
Still.
So when you strip everything away from, and it hurts so bad, but there is something beautiful about being in front of, like, the whiteboard of your life with nothing on there. Just like, wait a minute, hold on, okay. I have nothing, okay. But wait, well, shit, I have nothing. Okay. Well,
it's scary, but it's cool.
Right. It's like,
it's
like, wow. Like, even like with me, you know, going through my divorce, and then it's just like, okay, I thought I knew what I wanted in a relationship, and then it's just like, no, and then it was scary. Like I don't have anybody, and I am like, I've never not had anybody. Like, I mean, real talk, it's just like from one relationship, and then I get married, and like, it just kept, and so that was scary, but there was also a piece of me like, bitch, you really low-key love freedom, so that's really half your damn problem. And so it's just like, wait a minute. So now I just had to take the time to be like, I started aligning myself up, like, well, like, if you could be anything in the world, what do you want to be? Right. How do you want to feel? And it's like, oh, okay, well,
that's powerful.
Anything?
That's
like,
powerful.
Anything?
Yeah.
For real. And you just start creating, and it's like, I could for real do it. But sometimes you have to lose everything to get to that point where you're like, but I could create this. And then that's so beautiful and powerful. And so now it's just like, I rock with myself. Like, I rock with you, girl. So I know that what I'm attracting is things that are in alignment with who I really want to be. So I can't be mad. You know, mirrors, you guys. Our relationships are mirrors of ourselves.
Yes.
And I can tell you by far and away the people that come into my life. Like, girl, when I say the most random, I went to dinner last night. The guy who was standing there, you know, doing the security, like, it's just the way that people come to me and treat me is so much love, and it's almost so overwhelming because it's just like that's because that's what I'm putting out. Right. Yes. And it's just like, wow, and it feels good. And I don't have any expectation of return or thought. This is literally me just being me. And the way that the universe reacts and what they send. Yeah. When I tell you, I mean, like, I'm an entrepreneur now. Who knew? I didn't think that would be me. But it would be just like, literally like, okay, shoot, okay. You know, hey, keeping it real, y'all. If you've never been in a place where you are literally looking at your money and looking at your bills and trying to figure out who's getting what.
Right.
I don't care if I get this one. Like, what's the minimum on this one? Right. And you're trying to figure out, like, when you're prioritizing, that can be a very stressful thing. But I stopped looking at it stressful. I was just like, guess what? Everything I need is coming. So, like, if I don't need this right now, it's not coming. But from that perspective, every freaking time something just pop up, I'd be like, oh, okay. Because I stopped being scared.
Yeah. That's huge.
But that's because it reminded me of how the type of life I want to live.
Yep.
That was really important to me. And when I stripped away a lot of stuff, I realized some of the stuff I was thinking was because of what I was told to believe that I want. Like, I don't.
Well, like the house. Like, I was holding on to the house, going through this divorce, holding on to the house, like, oh no. And you said I'd be moving.
I told you.
And I was just like, I don't want to move. And I was holding on to it. And then I finally got to a point, you know, my soon-to-be ex-husband wants to sell the properties. I was like, okay. What do I have to lose? Nothing.
But everything to gain. And
walk away with some money in my pockets.
I'm about to be like, when she was telling me, I was like, I'm sorry, let's do this math real fast.
Give
What?
me the one, yeah.
What is you talking about? And you don't even really. It's just like she was just like, I just don't like moving. Do you like the house? I mean, it's a house.
Really, yeah.
But it's just the idea of I'm the thought, and you get it's like I'm losing something, but it's like, but are you though?
No, because now I'm moving into a space like I really wanted. Like I've wanted. Talked about that.
No, but
yeah.
but you're moving into a space and it's all you.
Yeah,
it's all.
And I don't have to worry about anybody holding anything over my head.
My head. Woo! Girl, let me tell y'all something. For real. When breakups, divorces, exes, all that, let me tell you, especially if you have property and stuff, thank God, knock on wood, I don't have to deal with this.
Right.
But I know what it feels like when you're feeling like, I don't want anybody, like, somebody can take something from me.
And I felt like I didn't have a choice.
But isn't it like, but what am I supposed to do? I don't have a choice. I got to have someplace to live. You like,
Isn't that funny?
Isn't it?
I felt like I didn't have a choice.
But that's 2020 will show you.
Woo.
2020 showed us.
Man, had us kicking rocks with sandals on. Let me tell you.
Kick rock with flip flops down the damn boulders, honey. But it's because of the loss and the fear, and that's the other thing with 2020. The fear of what the fuck is this? It came and literally, it feels like it just came out of nowhere, and it just kept bubbling, and it's like I was still waiting for I felt like a kid, like I'm waiting for an adult to come in the room, like, oh, the adults are gonna come tell us what to do, and
man,
you're like, no,
that's why
they're not coming, baby. It's
that's
you.
Why I limit what I watch, what I'm around, because the fear will have people doing something.
What? Look, see, and everybody makes fun of me because they got to a point, y'all. Because I'm by trade a crisis manager. This is so hilarious. A crisis manager. I do PR and media relations and things like that, messaging. So I was always watching the news, but I also knew that what programming is. Mm-hmm. It got to the point where I stopped. Like, I don't Hallmark Channel. My friends be like, are you literally still all day? If the TV's on, it's on Hallmark or one of Jade shows, Disney, or I'm Netflixing and I'm looking. But I can't. I don't want to. I don't want to watch death.
Nope.
I don't want to watch dying. I don't want to watch people being violent and mean to each other. And then people will say that you're trying to you're trying to escape.
Yeah.
From that. It sure
it's
is.
like that's not reality. Well, it's about to be my reality because just because you want to be fearful, I don't need to
like that.
Right, I don't need to.
I'm grown enough where I know that those things exist. Right. But I'm also grown enough to know that I get to choose what I want to exist in my life. My bubble doesn't include that. No,
my bubble includes weed and rainbows.
Weed and rainbows. Now, if you come in my house, you're gonna get shot. Let's be clear.
Right.
I don't believe in violence, but I will protect myself.
Yes, there you go.
But I don't want to be reminded of violence.
Don't let this peacefulness. Don't let it fool you, y'all.
Don't let it fool you. But I have a choice and an option of what I want to surround myself with. Right. And I started taking that very seriously. Yes. I was like, oh.
Me too. Like, I told you. I got into a discussion with my father about my son. Not taking care of stuff. And what happens and what's going to happen and how is he? Look, if you want to stress, you can, but I'm not about to. Following day, everything worked out. So I'm going to stress myself out because of why? It makes no sense. No.
No, I'm not doing it.
Nope.
Now, what we do know, though, this is a good one.
Woo.
Wait, but hold on. Let me just take this back. 2 Queens and Crystal Things came out of 2020.
It sure did.
Like, I'm like, real
It
talk.
sure did.
We started this
Honestly,
July.
yes.
Like, real talk. I just
Honestly,
remember oh my goodness.
I love 2020 because I feel like there have been
like,
so
oh
many
my
great things
God.
that came out of 2020. A
But-
lot of good things came out of 2020
But
for me.
Definitely. No. Like, that's why I'm like, real talk. I'm so glad we're having this discussion because it's so easy for us to look back on like, this was terrible. Like, I was
Trash.
You know, my dad is recovering from cancer, so like I literally wasn't able to be around my parents, like my family, like at all. A few times, you know what I mean, and because. And then which was hurtful for my daughter because all she wants to go be around her, give me a grandpa and hug on them, and like we thought we were gonna be able to do Thanksgiving and shit hit the fan, we weren't.
Yeah.
So that was, there have been some very difficult times, but there's also been, I've gained so much. But what we know because of the podcast and because of the healing services and the message that we provide and the message that we give from people, we know that several of our queens out there kicked off their spiritual journey because 2020 whipped their ass.
Yes.
And they're like, okay, wait,
like, hold
on. Woo! Like, what in the purity hell is going on around here? And then when you start asking yourself the hard questions, then they're like, wait a minute. Which is why I'm so glad that I feel like our timing was so perfect, which is why I'm glad we're here, because then you're like, but what does this mean? What the hot the? And it's like, oh wait, it's 2 queens over there talking about it. Like, like the messages were like, when I say people tell us, like, what you're speaking is like you speak in my life, because you guys, we are all connected. We're all going through some, and you know how representation matters. And sometimes you want to hear from somebody whose journey looks and sounds like you or what you've been through. You know, there's all type of healers. I have, you know, I interact with all type of healers, every race and all that, but it's literally sometimes, especially in that kickoff, when you just want to know I'm not crazy,
right?
Like, oh,
she's crazy too,
right? Like, right. Or all of us are crazy. Guess what? That's all right.
Yeah.
But that journey, and the spiritual journey, literally, because we talk about like discovering yourself, it's really, when we say you created this life, you created this, even your journey. So it's really just the journey back to self. It's stripping all the programming. They're stripping what everybody said and what you should be, the expectations put on you by everybody else. That spiritual journey is just like, let me just take these layers off one by one. And then you get to the rawness of you sitting there in the corner like, oh, sis, come here. Like, after you've taken off all layers, like, that's not, like, look at the sunshine. We over here now. It's just like, hi, self.
Right.
Can I come out to play now? So that's a good thing. What do you think? Like, what do you think about, 2020 kicking off people's spiritual journeys?
It is for real. Because, I mean, there are friends who have reached out to me that I never would have even expected or anticipated, or talking to me, I listened to the podcast, and oh my gosh, what does this mean? And a lot of it is secretive, though.
Of course.
Like behind the scenes.
Absolutely. You know how it is. Like,
it's been 30 years for me. I've been in the closet.
Right. So I'm saying, you know how it is. And, and don't feel, take your time with your journey.
Yeah.
Like if you're just like, let me just take my time with this and kind of put my foot in the water and like see what's going on. And some people are plunge head first into something.
That's me.
The beautiful thing about the journey is that it's literally your journey. Yep. My journey is Mia Sissak's journey. Yep. And no, it's not going to look like anybody else's, and nobody else is going to look like. We might have some things where we interact and where there's some commonalities, but the journey is so unique to self. And that's a beautiful thing, because then there's no expectation of you to do it any type of way.
This is true.
But your way.
Yeah, it's yours. Like,
that's freedom. Like, I
had to tell a friend, she was like, well, are there any books? And I was like, no. I mean, there are books. I was like, but this is your spiritual journey. So there are no books for you to read about you. You just have to. This is
your book. Write the book.
Right.
But I will, like, for me, and me and Chris talk about this. Like, I'm a reader. Like, I'm a reader. Like, I wait. I remember when 2020 when the stores opened back up, and I could not wait to get to the damn bookstore. Yeah, I was in the bookstore taking pictures like I'm in a bookstore. I was so excited.
I love the smell of books, though.
Oh, it smells so good.
I can't stand
love it.
books.
But but what I did allow myself to do, like just on the books thing, is I would go to it's literally one of my favorite bookstores in my neighborhood. I love the bookstore, and just I allowed myself to just kind of stand there, and whatever I was drawn to, I would pick it up and start reading. So there was a book that I got, and it's called I Am. And I am is my
yes, that is you.
That is I'm like and so that was one book that really, really helped me. And again, but like Christy said, that's just me. Somebody else will read that and be like, this is some bullshit. Like I'm not feeling this. But allow yourself to be guided in whatever feels good. When you feel something and it feels good, go with that.
Right.
And like some people, like Christy, let me tell you something. Christy will figure out how to rewire a house by watching a YouTube video. This girl can watch. I can't do that. Like I would have to be like, can I have the instruction manual? Like real talk. Like we could get the same information,
but
let
me just watch it.
I can't process it the same way. I'm like, wait, huh? Like pause. Where do you like? But if
I'm a visual
read
person,
it,
yeah.
But the visual comes up for me from my reading it. I have to create my own visual. Somebody else's visual sometimes kind of fucks with me. I'm like, I don't get it.
You didn't mention that.
Yeah, like I don't. And you like, no. Get all this shit out the way. Now what you? And I'm like, Christy, how you do that? I looked it up on YouTube. I'll be like, damn.
I figure shit out. It's funny at my job. They're like, oh, Christy's the expert. I'm like,
you're like, yes.
I just figured this shit out myself. But something else I would like to say is that when you, like, things that you gain by losing everything is, for me, I'm going to speak for me, a new perspective on life. I think this year I have really changed the way that I view my life and the power that I have as it relates to my life. And there are mornings where I will wake up and I'm driving to the gym or going somewhere on Lakeshore Drive and I'm just like, how in the world am I here? Like, how did this happen?
Yes.
And I now have gratitude for my life. Even when things are bad, I still have this just perspective on life where I'm grateful for the good, I'm grateful for the bad, I'm just grateful for my life and for the lessons.
We talked about this last episode when we were talking about self-mastery.
Yeah.
Like the thing with self-mastery, because we were just talking about having gratitude for the good, the bad, all of it. That is one of, when I tell you guys, by far and away, one of the best things about learning about yourself and really getting into like yourself is when you can take the bad with the good and you don't judge it. Right. You just take it for what it is because you know that there is nothing bad, really. On the other side of this, it's like there's temporary, like pain is temporary. Forever. It's not forever. So it's just like I'm just going through a cycle. And there is so much freedom and joy in knowing that, and like in the knowingness of like, okay.
And those are my next 2 points. Just a sense of freedom and joy. Woo! Like I will tell you, last year, this time, I felt like I was in a box.
Ooh, yes.
I felt like I was in a box. Like I was not free. And the reason why I wasn't free is because I didn't learn to fully accept myself and to live in my authenticity and speak my truth. And when I took time to get to know myself, we're talking about self-mastery and self-knowledge, that is when I really started to discover, okay, well, screw what you think about me, because I've gotten to a point where I don't care anymore. I don't care. Like, why? Why?
I ain't trying, but I can't.
I don't care. And so now I have this new sense of freedom where it's just like, an excuse if my mother's listening, I don't give a fuck. And with that, having a true sense of freedom, I now have this, like, amazing sense of joy. And it's not like, that fake happiness.
Absolutely. No, it's not fake. It's really the happiness because I want everybody else to think that I'm happy, so I can, be. But there is something to it's like, and to me I think there's a difference between joy and happiness. I feel like joy is something that is everlasting. That is like I literally have joy in my heart. That doesn't mean that dumb shit doesn't happen, and I don't necessarily get upset. But I have joy. Happy is...
So you think happy is fleeting?
No, I think it's moment to moment.
Okay.
This is just my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, like, so I think happy is like not necessarily fleeting, but it's just like, okay, if I give you a gift, you're like, oh my God, I'm so happy I got a gift. And this is like, you know, it's like,
I see.
It's like, this is a happy moment. It's like, that's good. And so what happens when you have just happiness and not joy, it does feel fleeting.
Yeah.
But when you have this sense of
I
freedom and who
joy.
you are, and when you have true joy, it's just like, and let me tell y'all something. It's not like we walking around here like, joy,
Yeah,
joy,
no.
joy.
No.
We out here living the same. We experiencing the same shit
Yes.
everybody else is experiencing. It just hit different.
Yeah.
It doesn't hit the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily affect
Because our perspective is different too.
Because the perspective is different. So everybody has moments of happiness, and then we also want to be careful where we get our happiness from.
True.
And then
expecting people to give us happiness.
You know how people say, we've all said this. I just want somebody to make me happy.
Make me.
Jesus.
That's not their responsibility. It's yours.
Yeah, let me tell you something. When I'm talking to my queens and that is the one thing to me that like it hurts my heart when I hear people say that because I've been there and I know what that is, and there's such an expectation but more importantly, that's so much power that we're giving somebody else. Like, it is your job to make me happy, and when you fail my expectation, that means you're not a good person. It's like no, that's too much power that we give away. You just meet me where I'm at, and I'm happy. And so when you have joy in you, I'm telling you, it's certain stuff that's just not gonna come your way because like I can't control your emotions. And at the end of the day, that's one of the biggest like I have learned that I get this. I control my emotions.
Yeah. And so with that being said, my relationship with myself has become so sacred to me.
Woo!
And I didn't learn that until I lost a lot of the shit that I lost this year.
And that brings us back to self-knowledge and self-mastery and acceptance of self. And if you really, 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 the most important relationship, you can call it romantic, whatever the hell you want to call it, is with self. Mm-hmm. Falling in love with yourself, taking care of yourself, holding yourself accountable. Self. And I love how people, try to twist it and make it seem like it's selfish.
It's
like
not
I have
selfish
kids,
at all.
And I know, and it is selfish of you not to love yourself completely, and because that's what you're showing somebody else. Like we have to really be conscious about that. But it's not selfish to love on yourself.
Right? No, it's not.
And then like when you do that like when I really do call it a sacred relationship that you have with yourself, because it's not for show, it's not for tell, it's not for anything or anybody but self. And then that shows you like, what do I emit out into this world is dependent all on how I see myself. So it's so sacred because at the end of the day, it's everything. It's how you respond, your choices and your decisions. I said this, you know what I mean? It's that knowledge itself. We just talked about that. It's all that and then some.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But while we're talking about self-mastery,
yes.
So I would call it a shameless plug, but it's not. So we got some good shit for y'all. So
it's
look,
good.
We talk about kind of getting to know you in that sacred relationship with yourself. So we have, and we, like, as Christy was saying, you have people that kind of hit you on the side, like, hey, psst, psst. So, what's this guy stuff you was talking about? I'm just, like, no, it's
Sis, you got some of that crystal? You got some of that crystal healing? As we look around.
Right, looking around like, hey, you, no, for real, like, I have people like, okay, I've never had, and they'll tell you, like, I go to church. I'm like, okay, baby, that's, like, so, I don't know, but I want to read, and it's like, okay, yeah, like, but, so we have these packages for people, for the new year, getting ready for, 2021, and I'm not saying new year, I'm just saying it's time for discovery of self. But we have different levels. So for my queens out there, it's just like, all right, I'm just kind of curious. let me just stick my toe in. We have the I am curious package.
Toe wet.
That's just get a little bit. You get a read in, a little oracle card, and a little crystal Reiki healing. Then you have the next package, and this is literally what we call them. It's like, I'm on a soul adventure. This is for my queens. It's like, all right, I get it. I'm in here. Now, what's next steps? I feel like there's healing that needs to happen.
Yep.
And that's another level. You get a lot more with that. I'm not going to go through all thing. And then we have what we call the...
I am the master of self.
I am the master of self. And this is about...
That's goals right
it's
there.
It's like 3 hours of healing and energy. And with our a soul adventure and master of self package, you get a booklet with kind of recapping everything that we went through and recommendations for crystals, their chakras. I mean, we really break this down for y'all. And when I tell you these prices, we are only offering this for a limited amount of time because at the end of the day, we did this for a reason.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons is because we wanted to have a sacred space for people who are starting their journey or deep into their journey, and just have some place to go. There wasn't some place like this for people like us to go to. No. So now we're here.
I mean, there was you, Mia, 'cause I was like, you're gonna be my spiritual mentor or spiritual coach, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. All I know is this is what's happening. I don't know what it means.
Like, what this mean? But so we're here for everybody, no matter where you are in your journy. So,
and we see you.
And we see you
out there.
So that's why. So we wanted to. We do this like they're only for a limited time. Everything is. They're discounted. So we're doing these as a package. So it's literally only through March. And then we gotta get back to our regular scheduled program. But we're here in the meantime.
Yes, we
are.
are.
You go to our IG page, 2 Queens Crystal Things. Hit the book now button. And thank you to our lovely queens who have booked. We appreciate you and. It's been fun so far. Like I'm just, you guys, I think, so my takeaway from this, from 2020.
Yeah.
I would say this, spiritually, physically, mentally, I definitely have been stripped in so many ways that if you had asked me beforehand, the thought of some of this stuff would have just brought me to my knees. And believe it, I'm still standing. So for me, 2020 is just it's almost like I took out the trash.
Man, yes.
I took out.
It was stinking.
It was stink. I took
ignored
out the trash that I need to take out, and so when I talk about and I know some people like, oh my God, she's so woo. But when I tell you I literally have joy in my heart, that does not mean I don't have problems.
Right.
But
doesn't mean that we don't cry.
Well, y'all know, I cry minimally every day because tears are washing to me, and that's, you ever wonder why tears are salty? I always think how much our bodies are like earth, the ocean is salty.
It is.
And it's literally water, and it makes me feel like I'm
we are a part of earth.
Yes, that's beautiful to me.
That is beautiful.
But it's definitely been a journey back to self, and I'm so appreciative of it, and I'm okay with the fact that it still goes.
Yeah.
And now I look forward to it. I love it. And then honestly, and Christy knows, I literally love helping people get on their journey and helping them.
Does.
It makes me feel so, because I realize that's part of my damn purpose.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. So that was been 2020 for me. The bumps, the bruises, I have been snatched from in my soul and in my body.
Yes.
Yes. She's been snatched.
You have been snatched.
What you got for 2020?
So honestly, this is, I'll say it's just a very general lesson, but speaks to 2020, is regardless of the bad, you can always find good. You can always. It may take some time. Come on, Christy. There had to have been some good times. I don't know. Let me get back to you. Let me think about that.
Hold on.
But there has to, focus on the good and find the good. I think oftentimes when things happen and when we're in the dirt, the mud, the gook, we focus on that, but we don't necessarily focus on the light that is above that gook,
Ooh.
And so that's where I'm choosing to focus on. I'm choosing to focus on the light.
What they call the saying, the silver lining, the dark cloud, the silver lining. It's and when really just take a moment to think about this for yourselves, everybody.
Yeah.
Every lesson that you've had, you can look back on your life and be like, "Ooh, but if it weren't for that,
yes, I wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't know this about myself.
Like my second marriage, I would not be here.
You know what I mean? For real.
I would not be here.
and you know how anytime that you are sharing love for yourself, even if it's not getting back what you expected or wanted, know that love is never a waste of time, y'all. I stand
She
by that.
says it all the time, and she's right.
It's
much as I'm like,
wasting your time, a waste of your heart. It's never, 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 never. So forgive yourself if you're going through like, but I wasted time with this. Like, you guys, you didn't waste any time. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. But anyway, so I'm excited about this temple work. Sorry. Okay.
Temple work.
So when we think of back over 2020, we're putting a challenge out to you guys.
This is so fun.
It's so fun. So it's very easy to think back over the year and see all the strife and the challenges, even if we made it through them. So many of us will look back and be like, damn, 2020, like, you know,
ripped your wig off,
baby. Like, seriously, like, you're super rude, 2020. But even though you were past some of these things, but for some reason the icky stuff sticks in our minds a little bit more. But however, anytime we are having great moments, it's something that we all do, and we all take pictures.
Yes,
we take pictures when we're feeling good, when something good is happening, when we're excited. So, in an attempt to guide us down a path of gratitude, to remember some of the goodness that has happened.
And it feel good.
And
like
it feel
happy.
good. Like, I'm challenging everyone to go through their camera rolls and be reminded of the good times we had in 2020. Okay? No necky pictures, y'all. But.
Oh, yeah, no.
Look, I'd be like, nah, girl, because when I was. No, not that one. We're saying. So, what I want you to do is pick your top 10. And we're saying 10 because, you know, that's the only you can do on a scroll on IG.
Too bad we can't do 12.
But pick your top 10 and post them to your IG with the title Gratitude 2020.
I love that.
And so these are, like, you're literally just like, okay, yes, all this should happen, but this happened. Or, you know,
some really great
things have happened. Like, I had a new niece, or I have this, or I learned how to play this, or I went here and I saw that. There are so many things that have happened, and sometimes we just need to take just a moment and be like, hold on, let me remind myself. So I want you to post this. Top 10 pictures from 2020, and you title it Gratitude 2020. And then I want you to hashtag 2QCT, which is 2 Queens Crystal Things, 2020 Challenge.
I love that.
So again, that's 2QCT 2020 Challenge. So Christy and I are going to have our Gratitude 2020 pictures posted on our on the 2 Queens Crystal Things IG page. So when you guys do this, tag us and use the hashtag. And we want to see all the queens living in gratitude, and we're going to share them on our page. So come on, guys, top 10 photos. Title it Gratitude 2020.
I love it.
Hashtag 2QCT 2020 Challenge. And let's just put out love and gratitude for this year. And look, and we also grateful that it's coming to an end.
Yes.
Thank you, but thank you, smelly much. Get the fuck out. But honestly, gratitude. Okay, so top 10 pictures, Gratitude 2020, guys. Tag us and use the hashtag 2QCT 2020 Challenge.
Yep.
I cannot wait to see how these queens is out here living in gratitude. Because, y'all, I already know everybody has something. Well, you're actually going to go through and be like, dang.
This happened.
Only 10?
This happened.
Only 10? Yeah.
I'm excited. And for those of you who are like not sure how to do it, just check our page. We're going to post ours.
We're going to post ours on the 2 Queens Crystal Things IG page.
And also realize that when you have an attitude of gratitude, you attract more. Yeah, you attract more good into your life. So this is
a great exercise because you're putting out so much gratitude. And then guess what? More is going to come in. You're sharing and you're like, oh, well, shoot. And now you're walking into this new year not like, F 2020. It's just like, you know what? Gratitude.
I learned lessons from it.
I learned some stuff from this.
Yeah. I appreciate that. So
appreciation.
I love that.
Yes.
I really like that exercise. I'm excited to do that.
What's our crystal?
The crystal of the
day.
Whatever you guys want to call it, is green calcite. And so a brief description is green calcite's energy is refreshing to the etheric body in the same way like our body's plunging into a swimming pool can be for the physical body. And so this crystal is cool to the hot emotions like anger and irritability, and it helps to nurture positive traits like compassion and altruism, and it helps to clear the heart chakra. It's a green crystal, so of course you know it's for the heart. It helps to clean the heart.
Healing.
Yes, heart and healing. And it helps clear the heart chakra of stress, and it helps to and other types of unhealthy psychic debris. And this is actually a really perfect crystal for the heart chakra, as I mentioned, because it helps to stimulate the healing, like she mentioned, ability of the physical body, and it assists one in regaining one's sense of purpose and possibility. And I think that's something great for us to have as we enter into 2021.
Because especially purpose and possibility, like that when you said that, I just kind of got like a little tingle.
Purpose
like,
and possibility without pedals popping.
Pedals pumping and my purpose and this possibility.
Purpose and possibility.
Okay, sorry. Guys.
You guys know we can easily go off. But it's true. But spiritual properties, it helps one to resonate with love energy and to express compassion and goodwill towards others. We're in the holiday season. We're about to go into 2021. So what better way to enter into a new year with this really positive, loving, healing, heart energy.
Yes.
I think it's awesome. It also helps to bring a sense of renewed purpose and vitality, and a desire to make positive changes in one's life. And again, we are entering into 2021. We have a choice. So let's make a choice to make those positive changes in our life. And then also emotionally, it engenders forgiveness of oneself and others. And for me, forgiveness was huge. Again, this is knowledge of self. We're talking about self-mastery, and that was part of me understanding myself. I had to forgive myself for shit that I didn't want to claim. I didn't want to be accountable for, and it was kind of crappy, but I did. Part of the work.
It actually feels kind of good once you
get
through it.
Once you get through it,
it's almost like
it's that freedom.
You know how, like, real talk. It's
Yeah.
almost like when you're going through a workout, like it hurts like hell. Like I don't like
my gosh.
like yeah. Let me be clear. I it's not like I actually get pleasure out of it.
No.
But when I'm done with it, I'm so proud of myself. Like damn,
I did that shit.
I did that shit, and that's how it feels when you
Yeah.
hold yourself accountable for your shit. Just get in there. It hurts. Yeah. But when you're done, you were like, oh, I'm a beast. I'm out here. Beastly.
And I think it also bleeds into real life too, because once you realize, like, I did that shit at the gym. Okay, I know that I can handle X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
I have the strength to do that. And you guys already know how I meditate with the crystals, but affirmation that that came for me is I am grateful for the life I live and the lessons I've received.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So what is the message for the day?
So I just pulled a card.
And this is a good deck too.
Yeah,
I really like. She used this
yes.
deck on me. I really like
I'm
this deck.
gonna take a picture and post this. So it is what is the name of this deck? It's the Mythical Goddess Tarot deck. So today I decided to pull a card, and what came up is pleasure. And so, and we talked about living in joy. So when this card comes up, it's talking about the emotional abundance of pleasure that is yours to give and to receive. It's about that balance, y'all. Give and receive. When you allow yourself to accept all the beauty that's around you and be in gratitude. It's literally the perfect card.
Right.
We're talking about it. To be in gratitude, you realize all the pleasure that's around you. And so we want you to open completely to yourself, to knowing yourself, to loving yourself. And it's so funny because that was a green. It's about heart energy.
Yeah.
Open yourself to your heart energy that connects
Oh,
you
look,
to
her
the
heart's lit up.
Yep. And so I'm like, it's a perfect card. To the heart
spirit
energy
works.
that connects you to the pleasure of life in each moment. So when we talk about that joy and that love, and so like when you embrace the fact that I give and I receive pleasure, period, point blank, it allows you to live in your moments and just enjoy them no matter what they are.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
I love that.
Woo!
That was so good.
I'm excited. So we're gonna have our stuff up in a second.
Yes.
Well, this is about to go live in a minute. So then we're gonna have our things up on Two Queens and Crystal Things. Don't forget the challenge. The 2QCT 2020 challenge. And all you got to do is post it with the title Gratitude 2020, because we are in gratitude for this year. Real talk. I'm so thankful for this year.
I am too.
So,
and there's been some great things that came out of that. So don't forget about the great things. You know,
don't forget the great things, y'all.
Oh, I can't wait to hear.
I'm so excited to see. Right, I'm like, I cannot wait to see what my ladies come up with, because I know y'all been out there pedals popping. Yes, we had some heartache, but we got this, y'all.
Yes, we do.
So. All right. Woo! So thank you for listening
to Two Queens and Crystal Things.
Two Queens and Crystal Things. So before we go, one thing I want to show us some love. Leave us a review on Apple, on Google, on iHeart, wherever you guys listen
whatever platform
to this.
you're listening to.
Share it with your friends.
Share.
You know, even if you on your secret spiritual journey, just slip it to them on the side. Be like, psst, psst, hey, check them out real fast. So we are going to we're going to do an episode next week, and I think the week after that we're taking a break. You know, to enjoy the little holiday season and plan, because we have a lot of good stuff.
Yes,
coming
we have
up.
Miss Christmas over here.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I just love the season,
she
y'all.
Loves Christmas.
So I'm really excited about it, and Christy's moving.
I am moving.
We have a couple of into this place that she loves. So we have a lot going, and we want to make sure we stay energized for you guys. We also have a manifestation workshop coming up in 2021, and we're going to be doing all of these self-mastery packages with the queens out there, getting them ready to start. So we're going to take just a week break, but next week we will be back. I think hopefully I'm looking for it. You know what, y'all?
We'll figure it out.
Because there's a couple of things we have on, but I'm looking for an expert on. We're looking for an expert on one particular thing, and if I can't find it before then we'll do something else we have planned. And let us know. We're also thinking about. Please tell us. I want to know this. We're thinking about doing a virtual vision board party. Oh yeah, with the queens on IG. If that's something we're gonna do a poll. So if that's something you guys would be interested in joining us to do, it'll just be fun. We'll just get up on. We'll set up something so it'll be nice. But we will if that's something that you guys, it's free. It's just something that we want to share with you guys. Get to know some of our listeners a little bit more, and talk about how we're setting our intentions and goals and visioning for our life. All right. We love y'all.
Love you.
Talk to you guys next week.
Love, peace, and soul.